Hey, I'm Shelby.
And I'm Courtney.
We're exploring our past
Looking forward to our future.
and living for the present, all
All while
while learning
learning how to
how to live
live
magically.
magically.
Hello.
Hey, girl.
Um, First, we're recording on Thursday. Our lives will never be the same come Friday.
I don't even know. Yeah. Ooh, woo.
Like, we're just gonna just say that, Taylor Swift's dropping an album. That's that. You will never see us the same again.
Never.
Never ever. Um, Today's episode was a super fun one. We put this out in our Facebook group a while ago that we wanted to talk to some travel agents, and this will definitely not be our last one that we chit chat with, but we have Veronica on the pod today, and you hear our story about she ended up booking our trip for us, but long story short, she went to high school with Kyle and we didn't really realize it. Craziness. Small world. But yeah, she shares about what she kind of does as a travel agent and how using a travel agent can help you, but also help them. And we just talk Disney and all the things. All the
I'm into
things.
it. And also, she was great to get to know as a person. This was my first time meeting her or talking to her or finding her on the internet or any of those things. And such a nice, genuine person. Not boastful that she knows everything about Disney, but also not clueless about Disney.
Yeah.
So just the perfect person, in my opinion, to plan a trip. Right. She's just nice, balanced, go with the flow,
I
calm.
know. I agree. And you know what? When we were doing those, at the end of the episode, we do the rapid fire, which we do with everybody. I almost wanted to, can we cancel the rest of the episode and then just ask her more rapid fire questions? Because she is like us and has been to the parks so many times that she has the same favorites and fun memories. And we're not going to give it away, but her favorite attraction, come on, she's in
Yeah.
our crew now.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
And spoiler
She
alert,
can sit with us.
it's not the people mover. So
It's not the people mover.
but she's still in our crew. Anywho,
Yeah.
was fun chatting with her. We hope you enjoy it and follow her. She'll share all the things and yeah, let's jump into it.
Here we go.
Hello.
Hi.
We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
This is Veronica. Hello, Veronica. And let me tell you this story, Courtney. I didn't really fully tell you.
Yeah, tell me.
How Veronica has come into my life.
Yes.
So I actually don't know when you started following me, but basically one day she messaged me on Pixie after I had hard launched Kyle, probably a little while after I had hard launched Kyle. And she was like, this is a really small world, but he kept popping up on my Instagram. And I was like, I know him somehow. And they went to school together, high school together.
What?
And that's the story.
We're going to need to do a secondary episode where we ask weird questions about Kyle as a child.
Kyle was we were in school together 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And then he went to the opposing high school because he wanted to pursue a better education.
But you guys,
no.
You shared the awkward years.
Yes, we were the same 8th grade, we had they were called pods. Kyle and I were in 8-1. We ran with the same crew. He played basketball. My dad was one of his coaches, so I knew Kyle pretty well. And when he popped up on my Instagram under Pixie, who I had been following for probably at least a year, and I was like, man, I swear that's Kyle Remillard. And I never pursued it, and never really was let me check the tags. I was just what a world. And then it kept popping up. I'm no, I'm confident that's Kyle Remillard. So I had to ask. I was like, I know the answer, but how did you two meet? What is this? Because at first, it was right around, honestly, I feel the first picture I saw of him, he had a mask on in Disney. And so that's why my initial reaction was maybe it's not him. Anybody with a mask has blonde hair, blue eyes. It could be.
Yeah.
And then I was clicked on the tag. I'm no, It's confirmed. It's Kyle, which is just such a small world.
Such a small
That is
world. But,
crazy.
like, so I think before she put all that together and messaged me, like Kyle and I and Reed and Ange, of course, we went to a baseball game because her brother used to play like in the Yankees corporation. What does he call it? League? I don't know.
The minor league system. Yeah.
He plays, yeah, in the minor leagues. We went to like a minor league game to like watch him play because Kyle was like, this guy we know is playing. And we were like, okay, well, give me a hot dog.
Cool.
We ran into her parents. Anyways, so small world. And then most recently, she has booked our trip coming up. So we're going to discuss that today.
Yeah. I have so many questions about being a travel agent, but also specifically planning Shelby's trip because Shelby, like, you live here. I mean, like, you don't live here, but you know, like, everything there is to know. So, like, I am so excited to know how Veronica has, like, you know, really treated you.
We'll get into that. But first, Veronica, who are you and what do you do? Travel agency, is that your full-time job? What is this to you?
Yes. So I actually, prior to becoming a travel agent, taught public school for 6 years. I thought I always wanted to be a teacher. I was like, this is what I'm passionate about. I love changing the lives of children. And then, you know, like many things that got squashed by the pandemic, I was kind of like, ooh, no, I'm not super passionate about this anymore. Just so much changed. So much was no longer what it used to be. And I was like, if this much change can occur in 6 years, what's going to happen in 16 years? Because, you know, those of us who teach kind of commit to, like, you know, retiring at 73 essentially. Yeah. And I was like, I can't make it to 73. So I kind of started thinking about what I would want to do it instead of teaching. And I had kind of started pursuing, so this was 2021, being a travel agent, and was like, I could do this on the side of teaching. You know, you really only have to put as much time into it as you want. If you don't, you know, if you don't want to do it full time, you don't have to do it full time. If you don't even want to do it part time, you could be super part time with it. It's really all how you want to make it. So when I decided I didn't want to teach, I found a job as like an office administrator at a local health. It was a chiropractic office, but they offered a little bit more than that. I was like, okay, let me, you know, I talked to my fiance about it and said, would you be open to me leaving my teaching profession to become an office administrator, making almost a minimum wage and pursuing a commission only based position? He was like, yes, if that's what brings you joy. And I was like, okay, I picked the right one here.
Yes.
At the time, he was not my fiance. And I was like, okay, I will. If you ever ask me to marry you, I'll marry you now that I've gotten this out of the way. But yeah, he was totally supportive of it. And I kind of just, the office administrator job had really flexible hours. So I was working full time there, but still coming home and being able to have plenty of time to invest in the travel agency. And I kind of just really went full force at it. I was really nervous and I didn't know, you know, if people were going to think it was weird or cringy or, you know, assertive. I that was kind of how I perceived selling on social media, something that wasn't a product, like a, you know, a service on social media. And then I just said, who cares? If they hate it, they hate it. They don't have to book through me and I'm just going to go for it. So I went for it and it's kind of really turned into now it's 50-50. 50% of my time is dedicated to my travel agent work. It's really what I would like to fully transition into full time. But as I plan a wedding, I'm like, you don't quit your job yet. Stick with your other 50%, get through the wedding. She won't listen to this because she claims she doesn't know how to use a phone. So she doesn't know how to use a phone, the woman I work for. So she will not listen to this, but after the wedding, I will probably be quitting the job with her to really push this into full time. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I found the agency I work for. I met the girl who owns it in 2013 when I started the Disney College program and didn't finish it, but I met her on the Disney College program. And she stayed, but we've stayed friends since 2013. And she was like, I'm opening an agency. It's like, all right, take me with you. Let's do this. So that's kind of how I got think I just disconnected from my AirPods. That's kind of how I got started in it and how it's taken off.
So you just said you did the college program. Did you visit Disney like before that, or like you were a Disney like gal?
Oh yeah, I did. Yes, I did the college program hoping that it was going to be this like magical immersive experience for me. Figured out why I disconnected from my AirPod. It fell out of there. I was hoping it was going to kind of be the, everything I had dreamed it was. It was going to be this really magical experience. Having grown up going to Disney pretty much every year since I was 6 years old, I was like, this is everything I've ever wanted. And then I got there and I was like, ooh, the magic is better from the outside. For me personally, I was kind of, it was a bit, I wasn't getting any college credit for it. Rutgers would not allow me to receive any credit for it. So I kind of got stuck in this position of I either have to go home and resume my school year before it's too late, or I have to accept that this is going to set me back a semester. And the role I was in and the, way I was feeling, I was like, let me go home. I was super homesick. It was the first time I had been a plane ride away from my family. So I was super homesick and I was just like, we'll come back. I can have the magic later on. So that's why I ended up leaving. But yeah, we had been super Disney goers as a family. We were DVC since 2003. So it was kind of like this moment where I thought all of my dreams were going to come true.
Mm-hmm.
Home. My dreams are at home right now.
That's fair. We've actually heard somebody else we talked to, Taylor, kind of felt that same way with like working for Disney. And I think I always go back and forth. I don't think I would want to work for Disney either, because I think I would want that keep the magic
Separate.
magic. I don't know what happens.
Yeah.
I was that's exactly what it was. Separate them.
yeah, for sure. Is there one, so you've been going to Disney like basically your whole entire life. So is there like one moment that was like, oh yeah, this is the Disney life is for me, or it's been part of your lifestyle and you're not letting go?
Yeah, I guess for us it was just when we would go to Disney. I mean, you're from New Hampshire, so you maybe had the same thing. We always had that random April break, that spring break at the very end of April that no one else had unless you were from New England. It always fell on my dad's birthday week. He was also a teacher. We always had the same spring break and we would always go that week of April. And that was the one vacation we would take as a family every year. And so it kind of just became, I would say, the consistency of it. You would see the same cast members working at the same resorts. You would go, to the same, we would always dine at the same places. We always did Tapanito. We always did 50s prime time. So you started to really kind of get to know people, even in ways that I don't think exist now. I feel like now, at least since the closure and the reopening, there's been a ton of, I don't want to say turnover, but maybe you see a lot of new faces, young faces. And so we really started to get to know a lot of people that worked at the beach club resort. And one lifeguard in particular, his name was Raul. Like, he was just the nicest guy ever. And I remember every year we would be so excited to see him. And that was when we kind of, as a family, were like, wow, we really love going there, not just because of the rides and because of the attractions and food, but because we've made these really random connections with people that we would have never met unless we went. And they've given us these lifetime of memories. So the first year we went back and he wasn't there, we were all kind of like, oh no, are we growing up? Like, what's happening? Are we aging? Is this what that is? And so that was really the moment when we knew that we were going to stay, consistently going year after year. And I would say we've given it, well, my parents would say I've given it a really good go, that I've gotten my trips worth. But even my parents, for the amount of breaks that we took going, we've stayed pretty consistent as a family, going at least once a year. Me, plenty more, and if not every other year with them. So it's been really fun.
That's awesome that you still go with like your family. But shout out to the cast members, because they're the real heroes here, right?
Yes.
All right, let's jump into travel agent talk. So you kind of mentioned it. You started, now I feel like you're going to fact check. You said 2021, yes?
December 2021. Yeah.
Okay, and you reached out to the girl who you did cast member you were in your college program with, and you started to become a travel agent. So I guess I want to go into like full like travel agency. Like I kind of sort of understand how it works, and I know Courtney was actually a travel agent for a little minor bit, but I want maybe you can explain it better to the people at home, because anytime I tell people, hey, just book through a travel agent, because either way Disney gets the commission, whether you book through Veronica or whether you book through their website. And just like Courtney was mentioning, I'm a Disney pro. I can for sure book my own trip. But in my mind, I'm like, hey, I might as well just help you out because Disney has to get the commission one way or another. So I guess can you maybe you just repeat what I just said and tell people that is exactly how it works, or that is true. I'm not spreading fake news.
No, you are not spreading any fake news or false information. So anywhere, not even just Disney, when you look inside your taxes and fees, which they'll never actually let you do, any destination, right? You're not going to see the little line that says commission, because if you don't use it, it goes exactly right, you said, back to the vendor. So inside of your taxes and fees at the Disney Travel Company, at any of their destinations, you are paying the percentage of commission to a travel agent, whether or not you use them. You are 100% correct, Shelby. So if you book through a travel agent, I like to say you're essentially making big business a lot smaller, right? You're able to support a small business when you're supporting a massive corporation, whether it's Disney, Universal, Hilton, where any of those places you're going to make it a lot smaller when you book through a travel agent. So yeah, it's completely free. You don't pay an additional cost. Some travel agents won't work with people that are, not doing a room and ticket package because they won't get commission on it. Others will have a fee to work with them if you're not doing something that's commissionable. But if you're doing a room and theme park ticket package, if you can book it yourself because you have the skills and ability and knowledge of Disney to do so, I totally understand why people say, oh, I can just do it myself, but you're paying for it already. So you might as well pass it off to someone who can literally just take something off your to-do list. Like, I know all of us are busy and have something to do. And if I can I pass my credit card to a lot of people without thinking about it, but if I can pass my credit card number with knowing, hey, I'm going to get exactly what I'm looking for, and this person's they're going to handle it for me. I'm never going to have to sit on hold and call Disney. I'm not going to have to book my own dining reservations. I can ask any question to this person without going on a Facebook vendor and finding 56 different pieces of information to answer the same question. That's where I think the big appeal comes in. And that's why, like you said, Courtney, when Shelby was like, I want to use a travel agent, I'm going to fail you. You know so much more than I do, probably. So it was, and not even because I don't feel like I know all the information, but it's that idea that people who can do it themselves, like, feel like they know the answers. And I kind of get defensive of their own knowledge. I'm like, I don't want to say something and then you're going to tell me it's wrong. And I don't want to say something that's wrong or you tell me it's right. And so it was really exciting, but also I would say she's the most knowledgeable person I've ever booked a trip for. So I even said to her the other day, I was like, am I useless to you? She's like, no, you're not useless.
No, because here's a reason in itself to book a travel agent, because for me, I would have never done this, but one day I woke up to a text from you and you're like, hey, I just saved you a couple $100 on your trip because they launched this promo and your whatever you did your thing and you saved some money. And I mean, if I booked that on my own, I highly doubt ever have known. Sure, I would have known that a promo came out, but I wouldn't have known to like do whatever magic you did to save me some money. So even if you think you know everything, book with a travel agent. That's the moral of that. But I guess walk us through, I kind of sort of know you booked her trip, what you do if somebody is to say, hey, Veronica, I want to book a trip.
Yeah. So sure. The first thing that I do, a lot of people, I think when they want to think about booking a trip, they just kind of throw everything at you. They're like, me and my 15 cousins want to go for 3 days and we want to do all 4 parks in 3 days. Or they're like, hey, me and my husband want to go, we've never been, and you pick it for me. And so you either get like the totally different ends of the spectrum, and it really just depends on what they ask for. So I go through their quote request where I kind of try to ask some preliminary questions just to make sure that I don't have to, I don't want to send information that's not relevant. So within my quote request form, I ask, what their travel party looks like, what their ideal day looks like. And if they don't know the answer, that's fine. Yeah, like I can help you piece that together, but what do you know? Like, how can I help you with what you do already know? We work together. I will present different resort and theme park ticket options. I always love to send along potential itineraries to people that and even just the proposal phase of like, this is what your trip could look like, because I think a lot of people have this misunderstanding that you are never going to be able to get done everything you want to get done at Disney. And I know Shelby and I at least have talked about that before. Like you can do it all. You really can. Just stop looking on the blogs. That'll tell you otherwise. That's like where I like to see like what kind of information is this person coming into with booking their trip. So I will send over and potential itinerary. Hey, you can do this park on this day, and this is how you can get done the rides you want to get done. Once I get their proposal prepared for them, I send it off. We can schedule a phone call and kind of say, I like the Pop Centuries on the Skyliner route, but I think that we would like a little more upscale experience. Okay, well, how can we move you to a moderate or to a deluxe resort? Really just education is the first step. So looking at your quote request form, thinking, what do you know already? What do you need to know? And how can I help you learn without you having to go and search it on your own? That's the big thing. Is I like to tell people that I can be your one-stop resource for everything. You don't have to go out and seek it on your own. If you want to, great, we can come back and chat about it. But you don't have to. I am that person for you. So once you decide on a theme park ticket package, I apply the deposit for you. Then from there, promotion monitoring, like Shelby said. So I would say most resorts and destinations don't really make it totally clear to you that you can modify your existing package anywhere. Cruise lines, hotels, they don't put a little asterisk that says like, hey, this promotion can be applied to existing packages. And there's a reason. And we as travel agents know that can happen. So that's the other big thing that I like to tell my clients is, hey, if this price isn't for you right now, keep in mind that if a promotion becomes available, I can try to move you over to a different resort or a different package that can fit your budget. That's the biggest thing, is knowing what they need and how I can meet those needs. Once their resort and theme park ticket packages are booked, we go over what your dining you want to do. Do you want to do enchanting extras? Bippity Boppity Boutique is a really hot enchanting extra right now. Everybody wants it, which I think has a lot to do with how it's recently reopened. I mean, it was one of the last things to reopen. Everybody wants to take their little to BBB, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's get that BBB and that, Cinderella's Royal Table and your firework cruise. Like, let's do these 3 really hot things that all drop 60 days before your departure. But that's what I do. So I will wake up and do all of that for you. You don't have to wake up and book your dining, book your enchanting extras, any of that. I do that for you. We piece together your itinerary. We talk about transportation, how you're getting to and from the airport.
Cool.
If you want to rent a car or if you want to take the Mears or another shuttle option, it's really just being your one-stop shop for everything, not having to worry about something missing while you're planning.
And it almost felt like, and I don't know, you don't have to share your back end of how you do things, but it was a very like streamlined process. Like it was at a certain day mark, I got like an email from you like, hey, start thinking about your dining options because I'm going to contact you in this many days, so that you were prepped to wake up at 6 a.m. to book our dining and all that kind of stuff. So you're nailing it from my end. From somebody who usually books myself, you're doing a great job. Let's backtrack to something that you mentioned about having to like not rush through the parks, and that if you have a list of must-dos of everything that you want to do, that you truly believe like you can do all the things. And I know that you agree with Courtney and I that you don't have to be at rope drop and then stay past fireworks and all the crowds. So give, you don't have to let out all your tips, but give us the tip of like how, or tell somebody at home how we're going to do all the things we want to do without getting up at the crack ass of dawn to be at rope drop.
Yeah. Yes. So I am a huge, no, I'm not rope dropping. I will get up early and I'll sip my coffee for 2 hours and relax and watch resort TV for 2 hours. Like we can rope drop the resort TV, but we're not going to be getting up and going to the parks because it's just so crowded. I do sometimes take advantage of the extra hours and maybe I'll get breakfast in that half hour that non-resort guests can go to. I'm sorry, that non-resort guests can't go to. Maybe I'll do something like that during the half hour, but I will not rope drop because a ride, because it's just crazy. Everyone's rushing to the same place, and that's just not the vibe for me. So my biggest tip is, and I say this, understanding that this is not always going to be possible for people, but when you're looking at your budget and when you're thinking about how much you want to spend, just account for Disney Genie Plus, at least for one park. If you are like, I really want to, at Magic Kingdom, I want to do absolutely everything. Like that's my goal. I want to ride everything at Magic Kingdom. Just say, okay, I need to find an extra $100 for my party of 4. And that's one of the huge benefits of booking early is you can take a year to save up your $100 for Disney Genie Plus. I know that I don't say that to diminish, anyone's hard-earned dollar and say like, hey, it's just 100. Like by no means am I saying that. So that's why it's kind of like take advantage of booking early so that you can save and really work towards that. Because if you use Disney Genie Plus, you can get done everything you want to get done. And I know other people will say, no, you can't. You have to book this and this and this. No, you really can. You just have to know how to use it. And your travel agent is someone who can tell you that. I don't get a dime of commission off of Disney Genie Plus. It's all through my Disney Experience app. So I'm not out here saying it to like score myself an extra $10 in commission. I get nothing from it. So when we work together, I share step by step how to go through Disney Genie Plus, how you don't have to be sitting on your phone that's another big objection I get to it. Well, I don't want to be on my phone all day. I'm like, okay, well, do you want to wait in line all day? Like, right. I would rather be on my phone for 10 minutes a pop and then put it away and pick it back up and, do it that way. And I think it's so worth the money. Another thing I say to people when they're trying to save, maybe, people who are working on a tighter budget, they might say, well, what's another way I can save if I want to spend my money on Disney Genie Plus? Bring your snacks. Like bring things that I don't need to get a granola bar in the parks. I certainly don't need to get a water bottle in the parks. Like I will bring those things with me, like a couple granola bars, maybe like a turkey sandwich. If I don't want to spend an exorbitant amount of money that trip, maybe I'm just going for 2 days and I'm like, if I can get one sit down dinner and my Disney Genie Plus, I've had a great trip. So that's my big thing is save money in other ways if you need to and feel comfortable doing so to get Disney Genie Plus. Because I'm speaking for most travel agents because I think we're all kind of on the same page about the misunderstanding surrounding Disney Genie Plus right now. We have, Facebook groups for travel agents, really exclusive stuff going on in there, where we all just share our similar kind of qualms is that so many people just don't understand Disney Genie Plus because it's not marketed clearly. You go on the app and you're like, what is my free genie versus my paid genie versus my lightning lane? Not like they make it super easy, but when you work with myself or with another travel agent, we do help you understand it. So it doesn't really feel like this super intimidating thing that you will never master while you're there. You can get on all the rides, see all the attractions, enjoy everything with setting yourself that budget for it. And if you can't budget for it, then the best way to get things done for me is I like to make a list. I know, hey, it's really important for me to ride Big Thunder Mountain every time I go. There's no exception. Or it's really important for me to ride Everest. If I have to wait 45, 50 minutes for any of those rides, I accept that. I put that in my daily itinerary. I build out my itinerary to understand that I might have a wait. That's another big thing that I like to tell my clients because some of them are, I don't want to spend the money on Disney Genie. Okay, then let's look on the big picture and what are your 5 rides you really want to ride? And let's build in your day that way. You don't have to rope drop and get up early and stay till midnight to ride everything. You just got to go in with a plan. And when you work with me or with another travel agent of any kind of agency, there, with the exception, well, I won't bash the big box stores, but they're not going to help you. they're not going to help you with a personalized person. But when you work with these smaller agents and agencies, you're really going to get someone who knows what they're talking about and can help you build out a day to get done anything you want to get done. So yes, that was a ramble. My biggest 2 tips are put your money aside for Disney Genie Plus. Spend the X amount of time you have between putting your deposit down and booking the trip, putting aside a couple dollars a day for Disney Genie Plus. And if you don't want to purchase Disney Genie Plus, map out your day. Think about what your top 5, top 6 rides are. And then let's forecast your itinerary and the days you go on to each of those parks based on those 5 rides. So my tip is work with the
team. I'm team. I'm team Genie Plus all the way. I've said that before. Courtney is like not, and I don't know if it's because she's a local where she can just like hop over to Magic Kingdom to ride Big Thunder if she wants to. But for me, I'm like, I'll spend the extra money to zip around and ride things now that I've sort of figured it out.
The other thing I will say, you touched on this, but I think is a huge benefit of a travel agent is like you have it's knowledge. I guess like the broad category is knowledge, but like if I know that I'm coming with little Susie and Joey and they like love Peter Pan, right? Or we really want to do like Peter Pan's flight. The average person has no idea that line is like hours long. Why would it ever be hours long? It's an ancient ride. I mean, I love it personally, but like it's an ancient ride. Like I don't get it. I don't understand at all why there is such a long wait. And then you look at something like Small World, I would assume, because like everybody knows what Small World is. Small World would always be like an 18-hour line. And often you can get on Small World in like 20 minutes. So just like having somebody who knows, number one, like the flow, because you also know the stuff like Peter Pan, kids ride. Maybe if you're not into like fireworks, ride it later at night because the little kids will go to bed. And in addition to those like nuanced tips, you're also getting emails and knowledge every day from like millions of resources. I'm sure you're like somehow affiliated with Mirrors. So you get like Mirrors emails that say like, we're going to be super booked January 23rd weekend because we have cheerleading coming in. And like, you would never know that you need to book that random weekend in advance because of some cheerleading competition unless you're connected, or like that a dining promo is coming out and that maybe not even Genie Plus, maybe like adding an extra day onto your ticket qualifies you for like a 5th day free room offer, or that the extra, like the first day of your ticket is like $1 million for the day, but then every extra day you add is actually cheaper. So like if you can afford the extra night in the hotel, whatever that means for you, if you should be in a value resort or however for your family you want to adjust that, you have the insider knowledge that like nobody, even like people like us, I live here. It's literally, I hear the train from my house. Like I live in the bubble and I don't know the nuanced, like random stuff that you have to know. Like people don't know that the parking lot of the Magic Kingdom is miles away from the Magic Kingdom. So like you can pay to stay at the Contemporary and that buys you like actual time, like hours.
Yes.
So just like all those little facts and figures that like you can know Disney pretty intimately and still not know everything. I mean, not that you know everything or I know everything or anybody knows everything. Everything changes literally all the time. But you're in a unique position where you're actively getting fed this knowledge and you're actively able to like curate, like, you know that the average rate at Pop Century is X dollars a day. So when you see a rate that's Y dollars a day, like you're like, book it all day long, like get it in, whatever. Or like, wait, this is crazy. You could book a moderate for $20 more. People don't know that. So that's just my little hype for you.
no, I appreciate it. And because I think you touched on a lot of points that like, if I wasn't so sweaty right now, I would be, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a good idea. But I'm like so sweaty because public speaking makes me sweat.
No.
But you touched on a really good point, is that like, there's new information changes every single day. And in, I guess it was February now, travel agents got one single day heads up that 2025 packages were being released. Like one single day. Usually we get like 4 weeks to promo it, to say to people, hey, you reached out that you were interested in 2025. It's happening now. So we had one single day to plan for it. And if you were someone who really wanted to go in 2025 and you were not getting that information, you might be, out of luck for particular days that you were looking for, because it dropped before we even got into 2024. Like it was February and they were like, 2025, let's go.
Yeah.
We were all kind of like, well, we're just settling on 2024. It's just happening. So the big thing in that is people have, again, I know how hard people work for their dollar. We all do,
Yes.
right? And if you want to go to Disney and you need to go on a budget, you can do it. You just need to plan and spend. Your $200 deposit that you put down in January 2024 for your trip in December 2025, you have a full year to plan and budget for it. And then at least you can get the best rate for yourself. I think that's the big thing. Like having a travel agent, you're going to have someone who's always looking out for you to get your best rate, your best savings, and is going to have access to information fast, so that you are not on, the losing end of, oh, I really wanted to go December 1st through the 8th. And I know that it's going to be decorated for Christmas, but I waited because I didn't know that it was coming out. And now the rates are, double, triple what they were before because inventory has gone up.
For sure. And I think
that's a great point.
Even like for myself, obviously I used Udabook, and just like I said, you saved the money that I wouldn't have known on a promo. But I have like a lot of friends or like, I wouldn't even call them friends, but like, family friends who that was rude.
People in your life.
That's what I meant. Because if it was like let me finish my thought, okay? If it was like a family friend is like, hey, I'm booking a Disney trip. Do you have any tips or something like that? And like, sure, I can share my very basic knowledge. I have more than basic knowledge, but I don't know about a promo, or I don't know about things that you're getting information for. So just use a travel agent, okay? Anywho, moving on.
But like a good one. It sounds like, also for the record, like you sound like a good one, where it doesn't mean you need to like be the end all be all doing everything for everyone, but like some people put up their flag that they're a Disney travel agent and they like know nothing about Disney, know nothing about anything. They just like, maybe they sell cruises, like Royal Caribbean, I don't know. And so you can just like add another brand to your portfolio relatively easily, but like sort of give somebody like a semi-vetting process, because you can get a shitty travel agent that doesn't know anything and isn't there to help you. They'll take your money and ghost you. Not like steal your money, but like,
oh yeah,
not help you book dining, not help you book whatever. So find a good one.
For our listeners at home, I think if you are looking for a travel agent, ask those questions up front. Say, hey, are you going to help me with my my dining reservations? If a promo comes out, are you going to help me with that? You can ask those questions, because make sure you're getting, or just book Veronica. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes. Ask the questions for sure, because one thing for this is like across the board for everyone. If someone tells you they're a Disney travel agent, they right off the bat, that is a giant red flag. We are forbidden from saying we are Disney travel agents. We can say we're Disney travel professionals. We could say we are advisors specializing in Disney, but Disney does not allow for Disney travel agents. They are forbidden. So if someone is like, yes, I'm a Disney travel agent, because they're not up to date on their training. Their agency might not hold them to the same standards. And again, this isn't to bash other agencies, but it's just an education thing. Any travel agent who has gone through the Disney College of Knowledge, which is required to sell Disney, Destinations would know that you cannot say that you are a Disney travel agent. You can be a travel agent specializing in Disney destinations, but you cannot be a Disney travel agent. And that goes for the big box stores too. When you're walking down and you're like, should I get toilet paper and my Disney World trip? No, just go elsewhere. The toilet paper savings are great, but your Disney savings, I promise, the $100 that they're trying to entice you with, not worth it. They are going to, like you said, they're going to take your money, they're going to apply it, and then they're going to be like, no, this is a 1-800 number. Like, you don't, this is not a person on the other end. This is toilet paper hotline.
That is a fun little fact. Disney travel. And haha. All right. So we talk about Walt Disney World, of course, because that to us is home. Have you visited like Land or any other parks?
Yes, I have visited Land twice. I went to Land for the first time in July 2023. That was this past, yes, July 2023, for an agency education program. It was, I had like really, really high expectations for Disneyland. I was like,
same.
I was like, I am going, this is going to be my place. And honestly, I was shocked. Like, I loved everything about Disneyland. I was not underwhelmed. I was not unimpressed. Like, everything about Disneyland, I was like, yeah, if I lived in California, if I could take this and put it on the East Coast, I think I'd choose Disneyland. Honestly, I just loved everything about it. I loved that it was intimate. It was like special. It felt like you were, it had more of the bubble feel than I think World does anymore. Like, there's no one, and again, if I lived in Florida, Courtney, I would maybe do this myself, but like, there's no one working, like spending the day in the office from Magic Kingdom like that. And then you go to World and people are like in the Epcot little garden pavilion. And they're like on a Zoom call.
Right.
Get out of that special place.
Yes.
Don't be working here while I'm taking unpaid days off. Like, you're making me feel ashamed.
Yes.
But Land was totally like bubbly feel. You felt like you were in exactly what you envisioned. Like, I feel like it definitely lived up to what I hyped. And then in January of 2024, I did the return of the Run Disney in Disneyland. And I did the 6 miler. That was another one that I just muscle memory carried me to the finish line. But I did not care. I was like, I could walk this whole thing and have, like, I mean, we ran through Disney California Adventure and Disneyland Park, and then also like the streets of Anaheim, and it was just so magical. It was, and I'm not one to say like things are magical, because I think that has a different meaning for everybody. But honestly, running through like Disney California Adventure before the sun came up with everything lit up, I was like, I could cry. It was just so, it was everything you kind of thought it would be. And I love that park hopping is like not actually a thing. If you want to even call park hopping, what's going on over there, you are walking across the street and you stay within itself. And that's what I love the most. You're not on until you get outside and then you're in Anaheim, but you're really like within its bubble. And I loved that.
Yeah, we loved Disneyland.
And I've been on a Disney cruise.
Nice.
Oh yes, we're running the Halloween 5K in September in Disneyland. We're so excited.
The two of you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Kyle and AJ are coming on the trip, but they're not running. Just Chippendale are taking on the course.
That's right.
So you obviously book then Disneyland. You book DCL. And you can book non-Disney too. Yes.
Yes. I can do, so any of the Disney destinations, Alani, Disneyland, Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney, anything under the Disney umbrella, Vero Beach and Hilton Head. And then honestly, like anything else you could think of. All of the Universal destinations, Hollywood and Florida, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Norwegian, Princess, the old Carnival Cruise Line, if you're looking to have some fun out on the sea, and that's Virgin Voyages, any of those major cruise lines we partner with as an agency. There's no additional cost for any of those. Hilton, Marriott, Hyatt
Oh,
all-inclusive resorts. Yeah, any of the Hyatt all-inclusive collection, even just like my brother went to Portland, Maine, on a Saturday through Monday, like a random Westin in Portland, Maine, like any hotel. I can even do VRBOs. I kind of shy away from VRBOs
wow.
just because I myself, when I book an Airbnb or a VRBO, am like shaking when I do it. I'm like, what am I getting into? Like, you never
Yes.
know. You're going into someone's house.
Yes.
So when clients reach out and are like, I would love a VRBO, I'm like, I hear you, but next door there's a Marriott, so
Right.
go to the Marriott. But yes, I can book anywhere, really any destination, domestic or international. Right now, I have a ton of interest and clients going to sandals resorts, mostly actually like couples around all of our ages. Are loving sandals right now. I'm like, are we? It kind of makes me feel like we've gotten old. I'm like,
Yeah.
I remember seeing, like, I see sandals commercials when we were in high school, and now we're all old enough to be going to sandals. Like, what is? It's actually really for people. I would say their biggest demographic right now is like couples 30 to like 65. It's not like when I think of sandals growing up, I'm like, 75 and over.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not. It's totally for like, it's for us. Sandals and the beaches resorts. The beaches resorts are family friendly options, and people are like, I mean, they have a water park. So I'm like, really? Who knew that all of these things that we've seen our whole lives on TV, the commercials, were actually like, we're at the age where we can go to them now. So I have a lot of family and honeymooners. Those are my biggest, like, couples on honeymoons, couples going on vacations together, and families, I would say, are like my biggest demographic of people that are trying to vacation right now, which is it's really nice to see that people are ready to get back out there.
Yeah.
All right, one last travel agent question for me, unless Courtney has more. But you're just kind of talking about it. Couples like our age. I want you right now, sell me a Disney trip to like. It's not actually to me because you don't have to sell me a Disney trip. I'll go to Disney. Let's sell my brother-in-law Reed and Ange. They're just getting married and they think Disney is just for kids, but I want to take them either to Disney or on a cruise line, or sell them a Disney trip, adults only.
Okay, an adults only Disney trip. What time of year are we talking? Because that's gonna be
Oh gosh. Well, actually, she was talking about like March, so let's just throw out March.
okay. March is a lovely, lovely time to go to Florida. If they were thinking like hurricane season, I might be like, ooh, let's go on let's go to land. Let's go across across the land. I would say the Disney Cruise Line really shocked me with how adult friendly it was. I had the best time. So if people have reservations about Disney World, because it is or Disneyland, in the sense that it's going to be Disney, for lack of better words, Disney heavy, right? Like, I've had people reach out and they're like, will kids be there? I'm like, yeah, no, they will. They will definitely be there in Disney World and land.
Yeah.
So I would say either Disney Cruise Line or honestly Alani in Hawaii. People who come back from Alani never want to be there again. It is like beauty. It is, so pristine. It's exactly the customer service that you would expect from Disney, and the quality from Disney, and the subtle touches of, if you are someone who loves Disney characters and the feel and the essence of Disney, then Alani is going to have that for you. Whereas Disney Cruise Line is going to be slightly more immersive in your theming, and you're going to be seeing characters, and there's going to be a Disney movie on every single day. But the adults only activities that they had beer tasting, champagne tasting, bourbon tasting,
mixology.
Yeah, mixology. They had a spa. They had adults only trivia and like games to play. The biggest thing that they do not have on Disney Cruise Line, which I think, well, at least for my brother and my dad, when I told them they don't have casinos, my brother was like, for what reason would I ever go on a Disney cruise? I was like, well, yeah. Although when I went on my Royal Caribbean sailing and they did have a casino, I was like as I'm down there at like 2 a.m. hitting the penny slots. I'm like, win, pay for my cruise. So
She is one of us.
yes, yes, I love a good casino. But at Disney Cruise Line, I loved the specialty dive. So we went to Paulo on the Disney Dream, and it was honestly, I would say it was the best food I've had at a Disney destination, and it was on sea. And I was really, people say that, and everyone's palate is different. And I myself know, like my fiance and I joke all the time. He's like, I live for the day when you say a meal is good, because I'll eat my favorite meal or like my hyperfixation meal, and I'll be like, this is disgusting. And he's like, okay, well, I guess we're done with that one. but then I'll go and eat like a obscure random snack at a baseball game. Be like, oh, that was so good. Like he lives for those moments. So when I came home from the cruise and was like, the best meal of my life, it's like, oh, we must go back. Like we must find out what this is about. So those specialty dining experiences on a Disney cruise that are really tailored towards, I mean, kids can go, but they're really tailored towards adults. They kind of set such an ambiance and a vibe. And I loved being able to go into the adults only pool and the coffee shop and the rain room, which has private hot tubs, and they had these heated loungers that I was like, it's okay. You can find me here. Like, I don't need to tan. I don't need to be on the pool deck. I'll just be on this heated lounger. Meanwhile, it's like 92 degrees outside. I'm like, like cooking like a little marshmallow. And so Disney Cruise Line has so much more adults only things to offer that I think people really realize. And if you're someone who loves Disney and has the budget for it, that's the big difference. Alani and Disney Cruise Line do require a budget that I totally recognize and understand that not everyone has. But again, it comes back to planning early. If you want to go on a Disney cruise, plan early. Same thing. If a promotion becomes available, it can save you money once it's booked, but that 20% deposit that you put down a year before you're sailing, a year and a half before you're sailing even, just secures you at the lowest rate that you're going to see until a promotion becomes available. So yeah, I've had a lot of people reaching out about actually doing adults only at Alani. They do have so much to offer in Hawaii. It's very romantic and very, you can get to, it's accessible. So you can go see other parts of Hawaii. You can do other things like that, but then you have the pristine white beaches and the loungers and the spa. That's on my dream list. Like that is on my, you can use your DVC points at Alani. And my mom's like, oh, should we put them all aside for 1 year to go to Hawaii? She's like, for one long week. But then you look at how long it takes to get to Hawaii from New Jersey, and you're like,
right.
I got to budget in for like 2.5 days of travel. Like,
no. What you got to do is you got to fly to like Disneyland first, do a day, even if just one single day or two, and then hop over to Hawaii. I've been to Hawaii, and it is, I think to sum that up for an adult is, which I don't think is really talked about, maybe if you haven't been to Disney a lot, it's the hospitality that Disney offers is like 10 out of 10. And even for, Reed and Ange, who are my brother-in-law and sister, they work in like the hotel industry and hospitality, and hospitality Disney is it's just next level. Oh
yeah.
Now I want to go on a Disney cruise. I always
Me too.
Oh my gosh. How many have you been on?
I have been on 3 or 4. I've been on at least 4 because I've done all cruise ships except for one, and then the new guy.
The new guy.
Okay. How about you, Courtney? Have you done a Disney cruise yet?
Yeah, so I used to go when it was called the Big Red Boat, which was like, I don't know, the 90s. But in recent years, I'm very spoiled. I've only gone on cast member rates. So yeah, I've never paid, I should not say this, I guess, but I've never paid more than $500 for a Disney cruise. I know. That's not reality for anybody. I totally get that.
That does not exist outside
that does
cast
not.
members. No travel agent can get you that.
Yeah, even cast members can't usually get that. Those have been like very special times.
Few and far between, yeah.
Yeah, but Disney Cruise is so unique, and I, on the other hand, I'm like a Carnival Cruise Platinum member. I love a cheap cruise, and all cruise lines are nice. You're always going to get like amazing service and all the good things. However, Disney just does it differently.
Yes.
Even down to like I was traveling with a vegan last time and they took such good care of her, and like not just you're vegan so you're getting like a Beyond Burger, but like
Right.
very unique tailored dishes to her specific tastes, and like I was blown away. So
Somebody I know just did a Disney cruise with their daughter, and the servers cut up her daughter's food for her, like at the table. I was like,
yep.
oh my gosh, like that's the service. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
anyways, I could talk Disney Cruise Line all day, every day. Courtney,
It is.
Yeah.
some Disney little rapid favorites. Let's learn a little bit more about Veronica.
Yeah. So I am going to basically like machine gun fire some questions at you. It's going to be kind of like a psychology test where the first word that comes to your mind, you just let it rip. Whatever that word is, you just let it fly. And if you want to explain your answer, you have an open forum. If you want to just like, word and mic drop, also acceptable. So that's where we're at. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Within America, so within the 4 parks of world and the 2 parks of land, favorite park?
Oh, gosh. Oh, I can count land. Okay. I'm gonna go Disney California Adventure. And then on the other side, I'll say Animal Kingdom. I have to
Wow.
say, yeah. Yeah.
Gosh.
I have to say, I feel like Animal Kingdom is so underrated. And when people say it's a half day park, I'm like, great, let me have the other half of the day. Like, cool. You want to go for the morning? I will go for the afternoon, sis. Like,
Yes.
you don't have to. Yeah, and then Disney California Adventure was just like, it was like stepping into a movie set, which I don't think that world has in any capacity. Disney California Adventure was literally like stepping onto exactly what you envisioned the movie set to look like. And I was like, yep, I love it here. This is it.
Okay, so we're park twins. Love that. Your favorite, you can give me an East Coast and a West Coast. Your favorite attraction?
Okay, East Coast, Living with the Land. I'm sorry.
One of us.
I mean, Living with the Land, hands down, as my friend, I should have brought it out here. I booked a trip for my friend like super last minute, and she has no idea what she's doing down there, and she was like, I need you to do everything from behind the scenes. It's like, I got you. Meanwhile, I'm on my Disney cruise, like booking her stuff on my phone while she's in the park. And I'm like, okay, you're going here and here and here. And she's like, I'm sitting on Living with the Land now. Like, and she was with someone who had never been. She's like, Sarah can't stop laughing. Like, this is your favorite ride. I'm like, what is there not to love about Living with the Land? Like, and I'm so jealous of all those people that came up with that niche meme that's like when the bongos start playing. Have you seen that meme that's like that reel that's gone viral? And it's like me and my friends when the bongos start playing on Living with the Land. I'm like, I've been doing that. Like, I've been jamming to that music since 2001. Same. Like, come on, get out of here.
Same.
Living with the Land. And then, of course, I'm going to say Guardians because I have to do one thrill ride. You got to have to include a thrill ride. And then on the West Coast, I don't know. I did not like Incredicoaster. My head was like slamming back and forth. I was like, this is intimidating. This is a lot for me. But I did like Matterhorn, if you can believe it.
Oh no, that's a hot take.
But I know, I because it felt so like you felt like you're on like this is OG Disneyland. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna like lose a couple discs in my spine, but I'm gonna say I went on it. And I'm gonna have had a great. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it was definitely like nostalgic and Indiana Jones. I take it back. Matterhorn because it was nostalgic, and Indiana Jones because there's nothing like that in world either.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and I did not know it was a roller coaster when my fiance and I sat down. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's a crazy ride. I also highly recommend if you like that ride to watch the I think it's Behind the Attraction or maybe the Imagineering. where Tony Baxter talks about the design of the ride, because like the iconic scene where the ball is coming at you and you're like backing up, you're holding still.
What?
The walls around you are backing up. Go watch it. It's amazing.
Okay. I gotta go ride that again.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's that whole ride is like a modern marvel. Okay. Your favorite snack?
This is another hot take. I don't think I have one in World. I'm not a cheese. I don't eat cheeseburgers. So the spring roll for me, I've never tried it. It's out. And I know the pretzels. I mean, it's the moment of eating the pretzel. It's not really the pretzel. It's just like
right.
It looks like Mickey Mouse. But I'm going raspberry macaroon inland. I brought back 4 of them. On my overnight red-eye flight, I packed 4 raspberry macaroons that I pre-ordered from my mobile order before the park opened. I ran in and got them before my flight. And again, my fiance was like, you brought home only 4. Like you thought to bring home 4. Why wouldn't you have brought home 8? That's a good point. I should have brought more home because we don't have them in World. They're so good if you have not tried them. When you were there in what'd you say, the Halloween run, so October, you have to get them if you have not tried them.
Yes.
I've heard rave reviews about the macaroons. That's wild. But
yeah,
they're so good. And I would recommend bringing, at least if you don't like it, but you think Kyle's and AJ are going, maybe Reed and Ange, if they want to try, bring one home for them, because they were honestly like, I thought the hype was going to be, no, it's just a macaroon, and then we ate it and we were like, okay, we need more of these in our life.
Yeah. Okay, added to
I'm
our
here
list.
for that. Yeah. Okay, favorite sit-down restaurant?
Tapanito. I know it's just hibachi, you can get it at your mall, but
yeah,
it's like it's a core memory for me. Like we went there every year, and my brother and I just went and I was there in November and he was down in Florida for getting ready for the season, and I was like, do you want to come up and go to Epcot and we can go to Tapanito? Like literally I bought him an Epcot day ticket so we could go eat lunch there. Like that's how nostalgic it is for us. And we were just like, yes, give us the onion volcano and throw a piece of shrimp at our heads. Like we love it here.
yes.
It's nostalgic for me. And if you're for a lot of people who want maybe something that they're super comfortable eating, like I feel like you can't go wrong there. You're not going to get a bad meal, and you're not going to feel like it's something you don't know what you're walking into, which I think for a lot of people, like, again, like I'm not going to go to Garden Grill. Maybe I want to have dinner with Chip and Dale. Like in that way, I will go to Garden Grill. But if I want like something I'm going to spend a similar amount of money on, but maybe it's going to be like a slightly elevated experience in the food, I'm going to go to Tapanito because I know it's going to be good quality. It's not going to disappoint. Whereas like sometimes the character meals, you're not always left with the most pleasant dining experience. The character and the atmosphere is great, but you're like, what was that?
You're paying for the character.
You're paying for the character, exactly.
We just talked about that. We were booking for my trip, and I said to Courtney, I was like, I really want to do a character meal because of Brooks, but like, do we want to pay $47 for some Mickey waffles? Like, is this meal going to be spectacular? We booked it, but
yeah. Have you been to Tusker House yet? Or is this your first time going?
I've been to Tusker House, but I don't think I did breakfast at Tusker House.
It's good.
It's actually pretty good. Yeah. It was surprisingly, like, I was thinking the same thing when I ended up going for the first time. The whole group I was with were going for the first time, and we were like, oh, it's cute to see Mickey and friends and, otherwise character attire you wouldn't see them in. And for me, a lot of the times I think like, and I'm sure you think the same, like content, like I would love to experience this for the social media content. And then I have a reality check and I'm like, okay, Veronica, like you're not Daddy Warbucks. the character content can scale back. But it actually was surprisingly very good.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, they do knock it out of the park. Boma is another one. We're doing Boma after the race, after the 10K on Saturday, and I'm jazzed. I know it's like a buffet, but it's like an African buffet. I don't know. It's good.
That one is that like they have different options.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay. Last question. Well, last speed round. Your favorite ride or show that is no longer with us.
If you're not saying great movie ride, I don't know what you're saying. That is
Wow. All
like,
right.
I felt like it was a huge choice. Like choices were made when they were like,
Yeah.
no, we're done with this ride. I was like shocked by that. But if you don't know, which I'm sure you both probably do, they actually, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway pays a ton of homage to the Great Movie Ride. So when I'm
Yes.
on it, I just focus on that. I'm like, this is where, because I loved that ride. And actually one of my dear friends in college, she did her college program and was a attraction cast member on the Great Movie Ride.
Oh, fun.
And that's why I thought, for sure when I went, I was going to get a similar role. No, I did not. But I was like, if she can get it, I can get it.
Yeah.
So it's always been, so seeing that ride also with someone in it, I was like, this is it. Like nothing will ever top this moment.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Wow.
So great opportunity for, say it again.
Back-to-back weeks with a little great movie ride talk.
I know.
It's missed.
No more red light.
We have one last question for you, but before we let you go, but can you let us know like where to find you and where everybody can, if they want to reach out to book you for their trip on Instagram, Facebook, where are all the places?
Absolutely. So on Instagram, it's vacations_with_V, which I think it looks like it's underneath my name on right here. Facebook is Veronica Never Look Back Vacations. Once you reach out and like, even if you reach out via DM and don't complete the quote request form to start, I don't like, my biggest thing is you get my direct phone number. Like when you need me, you're going to have access to me. So once you reach out or fill out that quote request form or send over an email, which is you can see it in like the little contact me on Instagram. It's Veronica@neverlookbackvacations.com. Once we start communicating, I really just typically go right for, if you're comfortable with it, like, here's my phone number, let's chat that way, or let's chat over email, just so people feel like, I am a real person. I'm not a 1-800 number. I'm not a robot. I'm not going to try to upsell you on something because I, work for this guy down the street who is going to cut me a deal. Like, you just get me. You have access to me. But yeah, and for those people who aren't ready to vacation, even just following, sharing, and liking content, as you guys both totally understand, makes such a huge difference. I don't know if people and I didn't know it really until I got into it, like how much of a difference it makes when someone consistently likes your post. The algorithm is not out to destroy us. That's a negative thing to put out into the universe, but the algorithm is definitely hard to beat.
Yeah.
Yes. The algorithm is like, here, sis, give it your all. I'm going to give it all right back to you. So if you like and support, exactly. And if you like and support, just from that perspective makes such a huge difference. So even if you have your trusted travel agent, go keep supporting their business, like their stuff. And if you don't, or you want to also support another small business, just like me on Instagram, and you've done so much more than you can even begin to imagine.
Yes.
Totally.
The best way.
And then before we let you go, can you tell us one magical moment, memory, or something that you've had? I say at Walt Disney World, but any park in general, a magical moment thanks to Disney.
A magic moment thanks to Disney. This is going to sound so silly, but I tell the story to everyone. I was in, and I won't butcher the name, but the bakery inside of Norway. They have these like almond horned cookies, and the baker cracked it. The cast member baker cracked one and went to pick it up and take it out of the case, and I was like, "Time out, good sir." I was like, what are you going to do with that cracked cookie? Like, it was just cracked. It wasn't crumbled. It was just cracked. He was like, well, I have to throw it out. And I was like, oh, no, like, I can eat a cracked cookie. Like, I have no shame in eating a cracked cookie. And he was like, you would want this? You would want this cookie? I was like, yes. I was like, does it taste the same? Is it just cracked? Is something wrong with it? He's like, no, it's just cracked. He literally put it in a bag for me and with like the silliest smile and like, called everyone's attention and was like, she's gonna take this cracked cookie. I was like, I can have it? And like, he just gave it to me and was like, I hope you have a great, it was just the most silly ridiculous memory and then there's some people who are like going on these trips and having these like truly once in a lifetime experiences, and I'm here saying like this cracked cookie made my day. But it was just that moment of really knowing that when you're there, which is a very fortunate thing to say, like other problems kind of cease to exist. And for me, that's like nice in the moment. And in that moment, it really truly was like someone who was just doing something nice for someone, doing something nice and silly for someone, and knowing that there's like, we need so much more of that. So then passing it along, like in that moment, I was like, okay, you are just probably passing along so much kindness that someone gave to you on something silly and ridiculous in another moment. And you're passing it on to me, where now like 5-6 years down the road, I'm like, that cracked cookie was the best cookie I ever had in Disney World.
Yeah.
And not just because I didn't pay for it, but because this guy was like so funny about it and was like, you would eat this. And I was like, there is no doubt about it, I would eat this cracked cookie.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's just the cast members. The cast members make it so magical. And if you're kind to them, they are like nothing but kind in return to you. And just knowing that they're out there doing their job, and you should all show them that same level.
Yeah. Cast members.
Totally agree.
I love that.
They are.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us and having this conversation. And thank you for booking our trip. We so appreciate it. And I'm sure you will be booking more of ours soon.
And I'm sure I'll be talking to you plenty in the next 2 weeks before you go. But Courtney, it was really nice to meet you for the first time. And thank you guys so much for having me. And I really, you guys are inspirational. You're doing what you love, and you're like throwing all caution to the wind in the way of like, hey, whatever happens, happens. And I think that's such a great like mentality to have, because I think we all get stuck, myself mostly, and like this idea of being perfect. And I'm like, I'm not perfect, so I must be failing. But no, that's not the case. You just keep doing your thing and you guys have built such a great community, and you are a testament to people supporting one another in their pursuit of their dreams. So thank you for having me. I hope you guys have a really lovely rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll definitely, of course, follow her where she just said, but we'll put everything in our Facebook group and in the end of this episode in our, the show notes, whatever they're called.
Yeah, those.
And I'll try to find Kyle's yearbook pictures from.
Yes.
I'm sure it's somewhere.
Posted.
I know I have team pictures.
Yes, we need that.
Post that in our Facebook group. That'll be great.
Yeah.
So funny. I will. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.